This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
So here are the four pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, and the Euro Swiss. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during the past several reports, I was mentioning the short trade off this doji candle with the long wick. I personally was stopped out, as I told you yesterday, for a 50 pip loss. So right now, still just looking for something to develop on the daily chart here. Possibly we can use that 93 figure, which was the previous high or previous resistance, as an area where it could be future support. So we might look how prices react to that 93 level over the next 24 to 48 hours. Ideally, I'd like to see a little bit of penetration and prices maybe leaving behind a long wick on a daily candle, and then we'd enter at that point. But no trades at the moment. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi. As I mentioned yesterday, prices heading towards the top of the channel here, the resistance line of the channel, and then a brief sell-off. But again, over the next 24 to 48 hours, I'd look for another move, and it sets up well if prices do exceed this initial wick here, which is just a bit above that 124 figure, and test the upper resistance line of the channel. Ideally, the same thing here. I'd like to see a long wick to the upside penetrating the channel, and then prices coming and closing back beneath the line. We'd then look to enter with a stop above that high wick. Again, that's the scenario that I want to see unfolding before I enter the trade. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and this is the inverse of the Euro Pound chart. Still just looking for candlestick patterns to develop here. I really don't see anything in terms of a favorable risk reward entry over the next 24 to 48 hours, but in a slightly longer time frame, we might look for prices to test the longer term resistance line formed by the summer high over here, as well as the early September high, in this area right here. The last chart is the Euro Swiss, and you can see now that I actually moved the resistance line on this pair. We can see a nice triangle forming. Prices right now at the upper resistance line of that channel. Let me zoom in a little bit closer here and give you a better view. So I'd like to see a close above the upper resistance line here. That would confirm a breakout of the triangle pattern. But at home, it's just important to have these levels up, because these are significant longer term technical levels, and then it's not a matter of trying to time the trade and entering at the exact moment. It's a matter of patience and seeing how the candles react to these major levels, and then looking for the favorable risk reward entry. What I would personally like to see, if we zoom in, is prices closing above the resistance line here, but again, that would have to be confirmed with a close above the level, and at that point we then look to enter. Right now this line's still clearly acting as resistance, but again, I'm leaning towards the upside breakout here, and if not, prices will come down and test the longer term support line here. So again, just have these levels up and keep monitoring the situation over the next 24 to 48 hours. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX forums. I want to go ahead and formally welcome everybody to the DailyFX forum. And I want to explain a little bit about the forum and the wealth of information that you can obtain from the forum, and how to go about doing so, how to find the things you want. So I'm just going to dive right in right now. And this is DailyFX.com, and this is usually how I navigate my way towards the forums. Obviously, it really depends on each individual how they access the forums, but this is how I go ahead and do it. I go DailyFX.com, go ahead and click on the forum on top, and this brings you to the DailyFX forum homepage, and this highlights the most recent posts with the subject. So if you see anything that you're interested in, you can obviously go ahead and click. What I like to do is click on the forums tab like this, and go ahead and view the forums in the normal, typical way that forums are set up. And here you go. There are a bunch of threads down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and go directly to the forum, the video you just viewed, where you viewed it. So let's go ahead. This is the DailyFX Instructor Tips Forum, identifying trades with DailyFX. That's me. Go ahead and click on the most recent post. So this is where you are right now viewing the video, although the video will be the video beneath this one that you're watching right now. So normally when I'm on the forums, and what I would do is just scroll up to the top. Certainly you can check out any of my previous videos, and especially if I did mention them in the report or in the video that you're viewing at that moment. And what I will do is go ahead and click on the forums, and then look for the forums that I like, that I have interest in. One of them would be the Euro Dollar forum, and this again, it's really up to each individual trader as to exactly how they want to use the forum. Personally, what I like to do, the first thing I do is I'll go to the Euro Dollar thread. I'll go and click on the latest post. And what I'll do here is, and again, I just want to really emphasize this point. It depends on your exact mindset when you're viewing. And me as a trader, I have some experience. So what I do and how I personally use the forum is I go through and I'll read what people are saying about the euro, what their trade ideas are. I certainly try to maintain my own individual objectivity, and I really don't pay much attention to what other traders are saying in terms of my trading. I'm not going to certainly see something on a forum and then go jump into a trade, but what it will do, it will open my eyes to certain trading opportunities, maybe a certain line or a certain time frame that I haven't looked at before. So that's one way that I personally like to utilize the DailyFX forum. But certainly for newer traders, there are plenty of topics that you can go over. Let's say you might not be well versed in terms of certain currency pairs that you want to learn about. Scalping, you might not know what Elliott wave is. You can go ahead and click there and see exactly what you can understand, what you might not understand, and then certainly feel free to ask questions about any of these topics that you have. Maybe the carry trade, maybe you have some questions about that, or the sentiment, the SSI, or the latest economic news, FX programmers, the webinars, MT4. Any questions about active trader, you can go ahead and click on those threads. So again, it's very free, very open, and there is a wealth of information here and just waiting to be utilized. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening.